This is News 10 Midday.
And welcome to News 10 Midday. I'm Jeff Maher. It's Friday, August 2nd. A suspected Catholic priest was in court for sentencing this morning in Sacramento after he pleaded no contest to one count of committing lewd acts with a child. As agreed to in his plea bargain, Father Uriel Ojeda was sentenced to 8 years in prison. He had been charged with 7 counts of committing lewd acts with a child. 6 of those counts were dismissed as part of that deal. Before the judge officially sentenced Ojeda, he was allowed to address the court.
I do want to apologize first to the family and the victim. I'm sorry.
Now, Ojeda was once the parochial vicar at Our Lady of Mercy Parish in Redding. He was suspected when the process began. Now church leaders in Rome will decide if he'll be stripped of his priesthood. There is a new terror threat that is turning out to be much more serious than initially thought. Just a short while ago, the State Department issued a worldwide travel alert for Americans. American embassies and consulates in some Muslim countries are also taking extreme measures this weekend. They're shutting down. U.S. diplomatic posts are usually closed on Fridays and Saturdays in certain countries, but they will not be reopening this Sunday. Karen Travers reports from Washington on this latest terror threat.
U.S. officials are raising red flags about a specific threat, credible, serious, and clearly aimed at American interests in the Muslim world.
And that's something we're going to follow throughout the day. Now, a pair of early morning fires is keeping crews busy. They're pretty much in investigation mode now. One was a house fire in Sacramento's North Natomas area. It happened on Lackland Way. That's south of West Elkhorn Boulevard. At one point, it was a 2-alarm fire, but now crews are getting a good handle on it. A cat did die in that fire. And firefighters in San Joaquin County put out a car fire near 8 Mile Road. That's near Empire Tract Road. This is in northwest Stockton. Firefighters say the car exploded after it caught fire. Investigators think the vehicle was abandoned and no word yet on a cause. A woman has been arrested and may face arson charges for the latest fire along the American River Parkway. 42-year-old Evangeline Deutsch was taken into custody after she was seen running from a fire along the parkway. It broke out around 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Deutsch was actually recognized by officers who knew of her from previous encounters with them. She was convicted of arson 3 years ago and did serve time in jail. Several local homeless residents say the fire left them racing to save their belongings along with their lives.
The wind would have been blowing harder. We would not have made it out. We would not have made it out at all. Just thank God we did.
The latest fire burned just 2 acres, but another fire last Thursday incinerated more than 50 acres of old trees and brush on the other side of the river. Sacramento Fire and Metro Fire arson investigators are questioning Deutsch about other recent arsons. BART workers are threatening to go once again on strike just in time for the Monday morning commute. The 2 largest unions issued a 72-hour strike notice last night. The unions went on strike last month, shutting down service for 4 days. They later agreed to extend their contracts and continue negotiations. Key sticking points in this labor dispute include pension and health care costs. BART is the nation's 5th largest rail system and serves more than 400,000 commuters each weekday. Well, we've got to get a check on your weather as we're heading into the weekend. Really no complaints this week. It's been nice and warm, not too hot. Tracy Humphrey is here. Tracy, is that trend going to continue?
Yeah, that trend is going to continue. We will continue to see seasonally cool temperatures.
Tracy, thanks. Mob boss James Whitey Bulger announced in court today that he will not testify at his racketeering trial, but says the decision was not his idea. This morning, defense attorney J.W. Carney Jr. said the defense has finished presenting witnesses. Bulger then told the judge he had decided not to testify, but is doing so involuntarily. He went on to say he did not receive a fair trial and has, quote, been choked off from having an opportunity to give an adequate defense. The 83-year-old Bulger is on trial for a broad racketeering indictment that accuses him of participating in 19 murders in the 1970s and 80s. Well, loved ones gathered last night to remember 13-year-old Natalie Georgie. She died after a severe allergic reaction to peanuts at a summer camp. Family and friends are using their grief to remind people of the dangers of food allergies. News 10's Simney Chewin spoke to the young girl's uncle, who has a message for the community.
Just as her bright red hair suggested, Natalie Georgie was vibrant and full of life.
Grief counselors will continue to be at the church. A special mass will also be held Friday after the kids go back to school. Police are still looking for the person who opened fire outside of Arden Fair Mall in Sacramento, and they now tell us the incident could be gang-related. It started with some kind of fight at the mall that spilled into the parking lot on Wednesday. Two young men followed another group into the parking lot near Macy's, and that's when someone started shooting. Fortunately, nobody was hit. The Sacramento Kings this morning announced that Corliss Williamson has been named as an assistant coach for the team. Williamson was a member of the Kings twice before as a player. Most recently, the 12-year NBA veteran was the head men's basketball coach for Arkansas Baptist College. He'll be alongside head coach Michael Malone. Coming up on News 10 Midday, a big announcement about talk show host Ellen DeGeneres this morning. We'll tell you what's in store for Ellen's future. I think you'll like it. And mischief at the White House. The University of Connecticut women's basketball team pranks the president. We'll see how the commander-in-chief reacted when News 10 Midday comes back. And welcome back. A live look at trading on Wall Street. The Dow is down 12 points, staying steady though, 15,615. You know, the Nikkei's having a big day. It's up 460 points. Also, Ellen DeGeneres, she's having a big day. It is official. She will be back for a second time to host the Academy Awards. Producers announced her selection Friday. She hosted the show in 2007 and was nominated for an Emmy Award for that performance. This morning, Ellen tweeted, quote, "It's official. I'm hosting the Oscars. I'd like to thank the Academy, my wife Portia, and oh dear, there goes the orchestra." The Oscars will be held March 2nd and can be seen right here on News 10. Well, who dared to give President Obama bunny ears during a photo op? We're calling it Bunny Ears Gate. What did the president know about it? What was going on behind him? And when did he know about it? Jeannie Mose investigates.
He may be the leader of the free world, but basketball players felt free to give the president bunny ears.
Well, if it can happen to the president, it can happen to anybody. You just have to keep watching your back. Tracy Humphrey would not do that. But what she is going to do is give us the full forecast, including your weekend forecast. That's coming up after the break. And welcome back. You know, it turns out even bears are not above getting their food to go. Here you see a bear getting a pickup order from a dumpster behind a restaurant in Colorado Springs. The owners say the dumpsters, when full of leftover food, weigh about half a ton each. But that wasn't an issue for the bear, who dragged one of the dumpsters about 50 feet away from its usual spot. The owners say they hope chaining the dumpsters will end these late night feedings. And here's a reminder that if you think the partisan gridlock is bad in Washington, it could be a lot worse. Lawmakers in Taiwan exchanged punches and threw water at each other during a recent debate about whether they should add a fourth nuclear plant to the country. You can see there were headlocks, punches thrown. Even some lawmakers tried to lock others out of the chamber ahead of the vote. You know, it's been proven that triple-digit temperatures, Tracy, cause a lot of tension and a lot of irritability. So I don't think people are going to be fighting each other this weekend in Sacramento.
You are right. You know, hot weather does sometimes not necessarily bring out our best, but we don't have to worry about that because we're still looking at some pretty decent temperatures across the area for today.
Looks good.
That's a look at your forecast.
Well, how would you like to create your own weather?
Oh, I'd love to.
That's what they're doing in China. Government methodologists are taking extreme action to try and help ease a lengthy heat wave. They launched small rockets into the clouds with chemicals designed to trigger rain. The rockets did their job, triggering some light rain. Can you believe that?
Oh, that's great.
The heat and a lack of rain have created drought conditions in many parts of China. I hope it never comes to that here, Tracy.
That could get interesting.
Coming up next on Midday, this is interesting. A look at the latest incarnation of the flying car. Not sure if this is very good or very scary. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A live look at our tower camera in Stockton. A perfect way to end the week. Looks like the trend of 80s is going to continue into the weekend. Happy weekend. In entertainment headlines, Corey Monteith's death will be addressed in the third episode of the new season of Glee as it bids farewell to his character. The 31-year-old actor died of a heroin and alcohol overdose in his hotel room last month. Fox says producers are still working on the episode. This may surprise you. I mean, are you ready for more Avatar? I'm sure you are, but there will be 3 sequels to the blockbuster movie Avatar. Seems a little greedy, but we've seen it with Pirates of the Caribbean, Rocky coming out with a 7th film. But come on, and on a high note, 20th Century Fox and director James Cameron made the announcement Thursday. All 3 will be filmed simultaneously with production beginning next year. The first Avatar has pulled in more than $2 billion worldwide, making it the highest grossing film ever. Well, we teased this. It's very cool. James Bond probably wishes he had it, and it's almost ready to be sold to the public. This is the Terrafugia flying car on display at an aviation convention in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. The concept flying version of this car, it's been around since 2009, but it's almost ready for sale. It can reach 100 miles per hour in the air and more than 65 miles per hour on the ground. Test pilot Phil Meter says this car plane could change the face of transportation.
The vision is that you keep this in your garage, you refuel it with car gas at a car gas station, and then you drive it to an airport, unfold the wings, you become an airplane, and then you fly to another airport, you fold the wings, you can drive away.
Well, it takes a licensed driver to drive it and a licensed pilot to fly it. The asking price for the flying car is nearly $300,000.
Whoa.
Dozens of people have already placed deposits.
Get out.
I'm not one of them.
Me?
I'm not one of them. Scared of that. You have a great day. We'll see you back here at 5.
News 10 is everywhere you want to be.